everybody, and welcome back to Chilluminati Podcast, episode 338. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mike Martin, joined by my own absolute joker and absolute poison ivy, Jesse and Alex.
Total monsters? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Are you the total demonic man trapped inside a normal man's body, or are you the like man trap, like Cthulhu man trap?
I'm the Cthulhu man trap. Let's not pretend.
There you go. Okay.
Always have been, always will be, baby.
I feel like there is another universe where I am jokerized. I feel like that does exist.
This world tries to jokerize us a lot.
Yeah, I feel like this is like gotcha, like no whammy, don't get jokerized world.
Jokerized is so funny. I got jokerized, dude.
This world, it's too easy to give into the jokerization of this world. You know what I mean?
I'm on vacation. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to get jokerized. Have a couple beers. You know, just think about the world, man. Go for a couple of taxi rides. Wonder if I'm seeing things or if it's really happening. Become the Joker, the Joker, the villain from Batman. Is he Batman's brother this time? Who knows? It's not normally part of the Joker's origin.
Is this an absolute Chilluminati episode?
In a way, sort of. Is this my first episode of the year that's not Corner Fest? Or did I do something else already?
I don't know. You did about 8 billion episodes to start the year.
Yeah.
And here we are.
That does happen. Well, in either case, welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another installment of our season of slightly sex-tinged Chilluminati, which, is pretty fun and funny for us 14-year-old boys that run this show. But also, I think it's worth discussing because whether we like it or not, as is becoming more and more clear every day, sex makes the world go round just as much as money or any other lever of power. And just like all English majors have to read the Bible if they want to understand like 90% of English language literature, if you want to truly understand the world of bizarre, possibly alien cover-ups and global conspiracies and cabals, we must stare sex's role in such affairs straight in the face and not look away. But actually, maybe look away just for a second, because also we need to talk about your money's role in keeping this show going. And just like all English majors must slowly transition away from school to becoming some kind of weird internet video game clown influencer podcaster dickhead just to pay rent
personal.
In the same collapsing apartment he's been in since before he ever uploaded a video.
Sounds personal for some reason. Mathis, does that sound like you?
I don't think so.
No, I think Mathis has actually moved once or twice. So too must we encourage our less financially challenged listeners sometimes to pony up a little extra dough for the greater good and to get all kinds of fun extra stuff in return at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod, right? But what kind of extra stuff, Mathis? What kind of stuff is there? What's one thing there?
Minisodes, both video and audio formats.
Yeah, every time we do one of these, there's a minisode. It's great. Yeah.
Rotten Popcorn.
Rotten Popcorn, perfect. Rotten Popcorn is our video movie watching show where we're going to do maybe some Let's Plays and other fun stuff like that this year on Rotten Popcorn instead, just to mix it up and see what you guys want to see. Excellent. Yes. Patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. Yes. Old live shows. Patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. Yes, that's right. Patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod.
Early access to the nude catalog.
Yes. The nude catalog. One time when I was in college, I saw two chicks working at a Jack in the Box having sex with each other behind the counter. But instead of leaving, I really wanted my sourdough jack and my taco. So I just drove around the building a few times and tried ordering until they picked up again. Patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. Anyway, I accidentally got addicted to downloading deep cut PS2 games and high quality FLACs of seminal city pop albums. And I did not have time to do an episode myself this week. So I loaded up a pneumatic mail parcel tube, and asked HQ for help. And with some kind of sex charged, steamy Valentine's Day horny topic, which I originally thought would be a pretty good idea. But then, wouldn't you know it, before I could stop them from bothering him, unbelievably, they once again assigned Agent A. Whitney Brown to help me. And honestly, I'm a little embarrassed about it because basically, I feel like these days he just openly hates my guts by now, which is unfortunate.
You outed him, dude.
I think he's great.
You think the Chilluminati wanted their top agent?
You're right.
A. Whitney Brown?
You're right. But he did put in a bunch of work. So even though I haven't really seen what he's got for me yet, we're going to make sure and do a real good job of reading through every word of it together today. Okay. And it's going to, today's flavor that I predict just based on what I think the episode is about. I haven't read it. Like I said, I think it's going to be kind of like a Mathis episode, but like in an Alex episode shell. I think. So
like twice as confusing?
Like a turducken.
I mean, I don't hope it's twice as confusing, but I do hope it's a turducken. Yes. That's great. So to start, let's have Jesse read a short message from Agent Brown himself, which he included right at the top of the file. I actually now just to explain the reality of this one a little bit, he sent me some files and then I digitized the files. So now I'm just copy pasting everything from.
Right. No, as one would do with digitized files.
Yeah. It's easier for me just to run the show without the big machinery around me.
Yeah. Cool. Great. All right.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. Somehow I'm stuck sniffing around the archives for you motherfuckers again. I mean, honestly, what is wrong with you guys? Gee, dear old Chilluminati Central, please have one of your clerks send me a porn story or whatever for our sex month we're doing. Is this shit a joke to you, Yucklenecks? Yucklenecks.
He's a colorful character.
Which one of you guys makes these weird calls, Alex? The short pothead or the tall pothead? I swear, if I ever see you guys anywhere, I'll hit you both with my Fiat 500e. I don't even care. They can't fire me anymore because I know about the great production. Great production? Try me, assholes. I don't give a rat's fuck this time. Anyway, pulled you some files on some weird UFO nut guy called Bill Tompkins. His history's attached, and his service record seems mostly confirmed. And I know he's probably nice, and he's definitely dead now, but even while he was alive, I don't really think he had every last light on, if you know what I mean. Anyway, tell your listeners about his history, and I'll give you some more shit to the next report once I'm done with it. Also, to Alex specifically, I just want to say, hey, Dying Fire, please stop inventing more dumb shit for me to do.
Okay.
I wish I became a garbage man or something instead of spending my life here.
Holy shit. Okay.
It's crazy because like Jesse and I have no evidence that Chilluminati exists. Alex could be suffering schizophrenic episodes.
No. There's the problem Alex rats them out. We're trying to be like,
hey, my mom ratted out her hallucinations when she was schizophrenic. Okay, I'm just saying.
Look, I just do the job that I'm here to do, and that's all I do. And look, he knows I like starting with a quote when I do an episode, so he included one from this book with a little post-it note on it. Let me see what the post-it note says. It says, "Call this episode Bill Tompkins' Man's Understanding. If you're brave enough, loser." It's nice. He's kind. He's a kind guy. Here's Mathis with the quote.
Can you imagine if someone wrote all this themselves about themselves? Because that would be. Can you what happened to a person like that? To make them do something like that?
What book? Great question. It's called Selected by Extraterrestrials.
Fantastic.
My Life in the Top Secret World of UFOs, Think Tanks, and Nordic Secretaries. Okay.
That's about as every
Nordic
UFO
secretaries?
book.
That's great. I can't wait
to
hear
hear
about
that's a type of ASMR on YouTube you could look up.
I can't wait to hear about this.
The quote is, "It was a microscopic period of space-time, but one in which a massive change in man's understanding of his place in the universe occurred."
Man's understanding indeed. Anyway, we're going to start with a bio of the guy. Agent Brown has left me some key discussion points and a nice timeline, which he pulled from the back of the book, which is volume 1. Also, I just noticed. You can buy this book on Amazon. I think it's on Kindle Unlimited if you want a copy to read for yourself. Cannot possibly be that expensive. The guy's name is William Mills Tompkins. But let's not worry about that now because we have a timeline of his life here from his friend and editor, I guess, Bob Wood, to sort of give you an idea of what the deal is with him. So that's William Mills Tompkins. Again, that's Mills, not Milton, as I sometimes see him referred to. He was born in L.A. on May 30th, 1923, grew up in Hollywood, where eventually he attended Gardner Junction Grade School for a year before moving to Long Beach, California. just across the harbor from San Pedro, where apparently all kinds of weird crap was taking place. But that's a story for another time. A little over a year after that, because now he lived by the water and got to see all kinds of military ships. I don't know if you're familiar with Long Beach, but that's kind of the vibe. It's like just a long beach.
Suits the name.
Yeah. He was inspired. He got to see all these ships and stuff. He was inspired to start making these like extremely high quality and like very detailed models based off sketches he made. And he started to get some special attention and some notice for these models of like boats, of like military craft that he would see in the water. Like for years, he was like building a reputation in town for being like incredible at building models. And over the next few years, even though he moved back to Hollywood in 1938 and enrolled at the Bancroft Junior High, he just kept on making models in his spare time. And he enrolled at Hollywood High School eventually, which I know where that is actually. It's next to one of my favorite In-N-Outs, where his model making got so good that they would display the models at school. And even at the Broadway department store that used to be on Hollywood Boulevard, they'd like put his ships out because they were like so impressive. And like, I'm not even joking about this. Like, I'm trying to like it sounds so nerdy, right? It's like a nerdy thing. And it is. It just is nerdy to like be like a model making guy all the time.
Or you're a billionaire yachtsman who owns people. You know what I mean? Like there's that guy.
We'll get to that. But like in this case, it's more about like his collection becomes literally like he actually gets one of the biggest and most recognized model collections in the country. He has over 50 ships in the collection. And by the time he's in 11th grade, he was actually asked to speak at a naval like ship, some sort of function at the Hollywood Bowl about naval ships because of his ability to like build
and
ships.
Talk about ships.
Yeah. And when he was 17 in January of 1940, he catches the eye of Commander Perry of the U.S. Navy. He eventually gets interrogated in San Pedro. Him and his dad both get interrogated about the models because there's a base in San Pedro. They were like, where were you able to like get these details so accurately in your drawings and models? And he was like, well, I saw the ships. And then I went to the library and like got this book that I found that had the ship designs in it. And they were like, oh.
Did they think he was a spy?
Dude, yeah, something like that. But like right now, everything makes sense. Let this story marinate a little bit.
We see a lot. This is some tangentially. What is that game? War Thunder?
Yeah.
Constant actual tank military leaks happen on War Thunder.
That's so fun to just leak it to Discord. Like, that's crazy.
It happens constantly. Thank you so much to Marsmen for sponsoring today's episode. Okay, and like, listen, I want to tell you guys something very secret, very personal, and I don't want you to tell anybody else. This is just for your ears only. Don't share this. A couple years ago, right, like when I was turning 35 or something like that, I noticed something was starting to get off. I don't mean like spiritually. I mean like physically. I was sitting down to record. It was, a long series, a deep dive, and I just would hit a wall. Not tired exactly, more like someone had turned the brightness down on everything. Motivation was harder, focus was harder. That thing where you're able to sit down and locked in, it was just gone. Nothing changed. I had the same workouts and diet and stuff. I was still drinking 19 cups of coffee every day, but somehow I was just kind of moving through mucky mud. It was just much slower. You know what I found out? Most men start losing usable testosterone around 30, about 1% a year. In the wild part, even the testosterone your body is producing, a lot of it gets locked up by this protein called SHBG, which is SHBG. It's basically like your body's making the money, but your debit card doesn't work, if that makes any sense to you. You just can't access it, is what I'm saying. So this year I decided to do something about it, and I went, au natural, baby. I've been taking Mars Men, 8 clinically dosed natural ingredients, Tonkat, Ali, Shilajit, vitamin D, zinc, boron, all designed to help your body actually access the testosterone it's already making. This is not synthetics, no needles, none of that stuff. Some men report more consistent energy throughout the day, not like a coffee spike like I would have or anything like that, just a steady baseline that's just there when you need it. Personally, I noticed the fog starting to lift. Workouts feeling are more productive and just feeling more like myself going into 2026. It's all made in the USA, third-party tested, and there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so worst case, you send it back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels, so the odds are in your favor. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. And when they ask where you heard about us, please just tell them Chilluminati sent you. It genuinely helps the show.
It's such a weird thing that like the way that didn't happen before was that there just wasn't people who were like, there was like a fandom that was like trying to like get the info. Like, movie news basically, but it's just like weapon schematics. I don't know. But that's basically what was happening there. And he gets caught by the Navy. They're like, why did you do this? They're impressed. They're like, oh, so you just like drew this shit and made it? They're like, oh, okay. All right. And that was like after like a year, like they first saw him. Then they eventually decided like, after a year to interrogate him. Once they cleared it up, he like got fast tracked to a job with top secret clearance that had to do with making models of things. And then while he was waiting for his credentials to go through for that job with the Navy, they had him working at like a secret facility in Downey, which is also just right here, belonging to the Vultee Aircraft Company. Apparently, this is all just from his book. So, you know, do with that what you will.
Yeah, just like with any alien episode, we're telling it from a particular perspective, and you have to clarify every other sentence. We'd never make progress.
Yeah. Also, randomly, do you remember the Battle of L.A., Mathis?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is, Jesse?
Yeah, we did an episode. A live show in L.A. about it.
Yeah, the famous photograph, the sighting, all that stuff. It happened like there's a reenactment in San Pedro sometimes where they do it. That's cool. Agent Brown left a quote here from Bill about it for you to read, Mathis. So here's that quote. He didn't have a note with it or anything, so I guess we're just going to find out the context now.
Just after midnight, the air raid sirens and anti-aircraft guns of the coastal artillery woke everyone up. We ran out onto the street and saw a large round craft about 7,000 feet up floating in the air above us. It slowed to a stop right overhead and remained stationary. It was lit up by 8 searchlights, while anti-aircraft shells burst all around and against it. Most of the shells exploded on the bottom of the craft. We just couldn't believe the thing hadn't exploded or been shot down. 3, then 5 other ships appeared near it. Some of the searchlights, as well as the anti-aircraft teams, focused on each one as they passed the first object. Eventually, the first craft slowly departed as well. Later on, about 12 other craft passed by at higher altitudes and were in turn fired upon. It was like a spell. Why weren't the hundreds of us watching this event concerned or frightened? I was not scared. There was no panic. This so-called Los Angeles air raid became the first major incident in a long string of events connected to the UFO phenomenon in recent history. And it was the start of many encounters affecting my entire 57 years of aerospace engineering. For whatever reason, the public may not have accepted the reality of what we had just witnessed. Another world had penetrated into our lives. I realized that there had to be a massive interplanetary mothership or motherships orbiting our planet, and from somewhere out in the galaxy. The mothership had dispatched hundreds of landing-type platform vehicles to the Earth. The nature of their mission was totally unknown. World War II was raging. We had our hands full with the Nazis, and now this? See, he does the classic Ancient Aliens technique, by the way, of bringing up this happened, this like a Battle of LA, and then jumping to there is a mothership around our planet and they're sending ships down. There is no logical bridge for that to happen, but Ancient Aliens, that show, which I hate, does that constantly too.
Hold on. Time period wise, the idea of light speed, wormholes, fast, like they were still, we hadn't even gone to the moon yet.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. So the idea, but I'm saying like mentally, the closest thing they had was an aircraft carrier. So you have a ship that takes other ships to, so like that checks out. But if he was to do it in 2026 and say something like that, then that is a massive, like, it is such a leap.
It's just a leap from being like, leap. And also I want to say in the book, he describes this as something that happens directly over his house too. So not only did this happen and he was here for it and he witnessed this very famous UFO sighting firsthand, he did it from like ground zero for some reason, like literally directly over his head. He's like centered himself in this situation. And then he's like, I just knew from looking at this that there's aliens in space, which is,
back again, like to Jesse's point, to Jesse's point, agreed on the time period when this is happening. Well, wait, this is coming out of his book. When did his book come out?
2016 or 2015.
Never mind.
Well, then there's no excuse, brother. No.
Although if he's coming from an honest place of what he thought at the time, then that makes sense.
We'll see what Agent Brown concludes, right? I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what he does.
Why are we relying on this guy who hates you?
He's better than me at this job. He's just a dick. So that all happened on February 25th, 1942. I'm funnier than him. And about a month and a half later, and I'm a better writer than him. And about a month and a half later in April, Bill was finally sworn into the Navy for boot camp, and I dress better than him, before being assigned to the staff.
How do you know?
Do you guys send pictures through your pneumatic tubes?
Yeah, you guys like pen pals? How do you know this?
He's taking photos? Are you getting like good angles?
I just know. I can just tell. So he got assigned to Admiral Rick Obata's staff. I have better taste in food than him too.
This whole thing is just a part of his.
Yeah, wouldn't it be weird if like you wrote yourself about how much you hate yourself and then on a podcast talked about how you hated the guy who wrote you, but it was just yourself?
I don't hate him. I don't hate that guy.
Weird,
I respect him. I think he's good.
Like you need help.
I just think he's old, and I think he's been through a lot, and I think he just sometimes needs to complain about stuff. And I'm
unfortunately getting Alex help in America is expensive, so please head to patreon.com/Chilluminati-pod.
Maybe we should make the new $10,000 tier to get Alex help.
That's what the ARG is all about.
Help.
Hey, you know what? I'll never write about this guy again if you sign up for that $10,000 tier. All right.
People about to really make you write about him forever now.
Yeah. Well, okay, check it out. Bill went to the staff of Admiral Rick Obata, who, according to Bill, and unbeknownst to most people, was actually the secret ranking officer in charge of naval intelligence concerning alien threats to Earth, and where he supposedly received something called Q clearance, which he treats within this book as like being 007, basically.
That is what most conspiracy people, when they talk about this kind of stuff, they talk about like Q clearance, hence QAnon.
Yeah, Q clearance is real. It is the Department of Energy's equivalent to like top secret. It doesn't mean anything else besides that.
Which I'm still waiting to hear back from my FOIA request. All I've ever gotten from them is, we've got your request, we'll let you know. And it's been months. I have not heard
like a decade.
We shall see.
Slow walk that.
We shall fucking see. So yeah, he got Q clearance to assist with operations, where he often flew in and piloted and manned electronics in almost every multi-engine aircraft that the U.S. was using at this time, usually to transport high-ranking officials between various bases and production facilities in El Segundo, Burbank, and at China Lake, if you know where that is.
That's a good point to bring up too, is that like Q clearance, is kind of high level, but there's a lot of civilians that also
get Q clearance. Yeah.
That they have to like go fly a plane or go be the janitor or be the people who
somebody's got to clean that toilet. Yeah.
Like Larry, people like that also get Q clearance, which is like, I can tangentially what Lou Elizondo tends to cling to. Anyway, continue.
Yes. No, you're exactly right. So also speaking of China Lake, which I just mentioned, from 1943 to 1945, he also visited China Lake, apparently on his own credentials, like in his own capacity, to modify rockets for testing and working on alien-based technology projects, like reverse engineering type stuff. And though he wasn't on the team or anything, while he was there, he also heard word of some crazy bioweapons and viruses indeterminate origin that were being worked on elsewhere in the facility, but he doesn't even go into that. He just like mentions it. However, which is like so scary. However, by early 1946, if you believe him, by early 1946, also I have better shoes than Agent Brown. However, by early 1946, having served a decent amount of years, he was honorably discharged from the Navy and went to sell silk hosiery and roofing materials for his father for 11 months until he was able to get another job with high security clearance at Northrop. And this is where it's like something else that's really weird about this guy. It's like this guy's story is like, there I was working at the apex of technology and design with the government. And then he like doesn't have a job for a minute. And his job is like something that I could go get today as a job. Like, I don't know. It's really strange.
Echoes of Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Who also was, he created rockets and stuff himself, but he was also very like he's very smart. He's a genius dude when it comes to like that kind of thing. But also he was not like in MIT and all the shit that he says he was. And like, he was also working kind of just mundane jobs and got scooped up to work on this like backward engineering thing. But there is an argument, I think, to be made that I think has been made in favor of Bob Lazar. And I'm not specifically in favor of him, but like over the years, people have used in favor of him is like, if they're having people try to reverse engineer stuff that could possibly blow them up or kill them, do you put your top educated people on that? Or do you get smart people who are kind of disposable?
SCP vibes? Like, what are they called?
Yeah,
the D rank
like,
people or whatever?
But just, putting him in there and being like, he is smart. He is very smart, like, but he's also not like Einstein level genius. So do we
in this story, is he smart? That's another
Bill Tompkins. I'm just saying though that there's an echo there, right? Of like,
right.
But also like
history is the same.
Right.
I know that's the thing they use to say, to explain a lot of this.
Sure.
But at the same time, just going off of the way science has been done, the smartest people are always in the room, even when things can go terribly wrong. In fact, most of the time they are. Like, scientists die of all sorts of terrible stuff because they accidentally stumbled upon it.
Yeah, you know that fucking time when that dude dropped that thing in the fucking nuclear zone and it just like blasted everybody with like particles and they all died?
Yeah, and they all died, or all the even the idea of what would happen if we make it was in the Oppenheimer movie. The guys being like, could this destroy the world? Like, we don't know. We'll find out. And they did it anyway.
So like, but that's something I want to do in the far future Chilluminati, of like a long series on the Manhattan Project, particularly, and how they built like the town and brought everybody to live there while they were working on it. And like,
it is fucking crazy. Yeah.
It was great. It's the closest thing we can look at that we know of like this secret project that they did bring all the smartest people to live in a village to fucking work on. In a not so secret capacity.
I bet Hoover Dam is similar to that. I bet. Like,
yeah, but one day I'll crack like a huge multi-parter on Manhattan Project because it's one of my special interests.
Anything where America starts to feel like BioShock for real starts to get really interesting.
He does.
Yeah, or scary and horrible and existentially terrifying in every way with every waking moment of my life. But either one, either or.
That's why you just gotta meditate.
Yes, exactly. And so, like I say, he sells hosiery and roofing materials with his dad for like 11 months after he's discharged from this Navy job. And then he goes to get a job at Northrop with high security clearance, which is where my own mom worked for many years, by the way. And it was a good job for Bill's brain, apparently, because he says he was working on a program to try and design planes without wings. Though I don't really know if he's implying that it was the project that eventually became the B-2 bomber or not. But like my mom worked on the B-2 bomber, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, he stayed there for about 3 years or so doing that, always just kind of conceptualizing and making models and drawings for his whole career in a way, really, before quitting in 1949 to again go back and work in the same old Vultee factory that he did almost 10 years before to work on some prototypes which were widely understood by everyone working on them, again, to be based on alien tech. This was not for Vultee. This was just the same facility where he used to work, which I believe was in Downey. But that only lasted for 5 months. And then he went to work at Lockheed for a few months. Because I don't know if you know this about the South Bay, if you're not from here, but like all around LAX and all that area is like all the old aerospace companies and stuff from back in the day. That's where they all are at still. Like a bunch of them are all still there. Hughes and Douglas and Northrop and all that stuff. Lockheed. They all have offices
Square
around
Enix,
there.
They're all right there.
Square Enix, they're all right there. Yeah. They actually are all right there. And a really good fucking kebab place, weirdly. That lasted 5 months. He goes to Lockheed and then something crazy happens because in addition to finally joining the think tank that he would remain at with Douglas Aircraft Company for the next 12 and a half years, which is called the Advanced Design Engineering Department, where he worked along with other recurring PhD types in the book, like Bill's close buddy, Jim Jenkins, and their ranking superior, German scientific advisor, Dr. Wolfgang B. Klemperer, and also maybe
the
Modoc.
Klemperer?
Yeah, maybe Modoc, that dude from in the chair.
School.
advanced idea mechanics. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure about that last one. It was also around that time that Bill also had the first of what he calls his flashes, which he says just sort of suddenly happen sometimes, and which are meant to contain sort of like instant psychic knowledge from various unknown and supposedly alien sources. So he just sometimes in this book, and I can't even tell you what it's like to read this book. I don't know if you've read this book, Mathis, but don't do it if you don't have to. But
it's bad.
It's bad. They're all bad. They're all bad,
dude, brother. Yeah, it has been it has been since the book came out since I read it, and I didn't finish it. I did not finish the book.
Yeah.
Just to be fair.
Yeah, it's not.
They're all poor.
They're just poor. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just poorly written. It's a bunch of people who just can't write. It's really what it is.
Genuinely, some of it, like, you know, the shit where they like claim to have like alien powers and shit. I feel like maybe there's like real info in there and they're trying to just like link it together and make it make sense, and that they just give themselves like psychic powers to like.
That's half the issue I have with some of these people who maybe even had a genuine truth there, but they're so desperate for you to believe the truth, they make up other things as well to try and get you to buy in, and then it becomes like a comic book universe of like
that's exactly what it is.
Powers, and it's fucking annoying because I'm like, there's something in there that like initially like that was probably the singular event. It was small. It was like the thing that got you like, whoa, what is going on? And then you were just nobody believed you, nobody fucking cared. Or it was like it became your identity, and now you just started making shit up.
Yes, and I don't know if it's just because it's cinematic or whatever, but Agent Brown actually did include 2 quotes about flashes, one for Mathis to read and one for Jesse. So here's Mathis's quote first. It is labeled "possible cause of flashes." So I guess that he probably thinks this probably has something to do with like what the flashes are. I guess.
Yeah, maybe. All right, here we go. Okay, I nodded. But you have all 1,442 guys here working on your RLR 744 unconventional propulsion schemes. At least 50% of the Europeans are trying to get off the fucking planet. Excuse me, the planet. What's really going on? All right, Bill, calm down. Klemp held up his hands and rubbed his chin. Several of us feel that certain extraterrestrials, for whatever reason, have been influencing these inventors telepathically, influencing them to develop a capability that will move them off this planet. We know that, I said, but I still see no apparent reason why the aliens want to help us. They're here out of self-interest, right? Why fly halfway across the galaxy to get here, then hide and influence men to achieve these physical possibilities? Think about it this way, Klemp said. We have 26 PhDs in our area of advanced designs and 38 others in engineering specialists, some of whom we frequently pull in as needed. Out of everyone, you two still manage to approach the tank's requirements differently. It's as if you've already thought of them and either known the answers or conclude that the requirements aren't necessary because another concept would provide a far greater capability. Brother. Pausing as if to find the best way to express himself without giving too much away, Klemp continued, Believe me, I've thought about it several times and I still don't know why. You two are caught up in the same enigma you're asking me about. This is the same, like, your special, like, moment that Chris Bledsoe has.
Yes.
Where it's like, he hands him this object and it glows in Chris Bledsoe's hands and like, why you? Why are you the chosen one? We don't know, but we'll work with you.
Yes, exactly right. And if you're not getting what he's saying that there's something about them that they're like, it's natural to them. Like, it's not like they had to be educated to be smart like this. It's like something that comes to them.
Like, I think he's insinuating that the extraterrestrials are telepathically influencing to understand these things.
We'll get more into what they're insinuating exactly in a second. But here's Jesse's quote, which I guess happens just seconds later in the book, but which Agent Brown seems to have circled several times. Like it's a key piece of info we should pay attention to or something like that. It's labeled, is there actually something to this? We'll investigate more. So here's Jesse with that quote.
At 10 a.m., it was time for coffee. I was still in the tank. I said to Jim, "It's not ours." "What's not ours?" he replied. "The moon. It's not our moon." "Oh, come off it, Bill. Mars moons belong to Mars. They have an owner's contract." No, seriously, I got another flash just now that it's not even a moon. It's a station. Bill, there are no trains running on the friggin' moon, and you know it. Okay, take it easy, Jim. I mean, an alien naval operating facility, an alien naval base, and there ain't no cheese there either. Yeah, well, was this flash in color or black and white? Don't remember. I think color. That's right. Most of my flashes are in color. Well, Bill, what alien navy swiped our moon? Flash indicated it was never our moon. Aliens towed it here in a pickup from another sector of the galaxy several years ago. Like wow. 10,000. Oh, Bill, slow down. Now, you are way too far out for me. That's unreal. No, Jim, the damn thing has no core. It's filled with massive cities. Cities? Grabbing me by my shoulder, Jim said, Bill, let me help you lay down before you faint and fall off your chair. I'm okay, Jim. It's like 48 states inside that. Holy cats, Jim. I got it again right now. I'm freezing. I can see inside it. There are thousands of structures in there, massive open areas, thousands of entities, beehives like transparent buildings, hundreds of control centers, millions of laboratories, military research, medical. It's gone. Can't say anything now. I don't recall the taste of strawberries and cream. But Jim, that cold, shaking, that was the worst I ever had. I do feel a little sick, dizzy. Boy, they really hit me that time, Jim. You look a little pale, Bill. You sure you're okay? I have had them too, but never had one like that. One that hit me that hard, Jim added. You know, Jim, the moon never rotates like everything else in our solar system. Yes, Bill, I've wondered about that for a long time too. Jim, I think we're really in trouble.
What the fuck was that conversation?
That is not edited, by the way. That is how that plays out in the book. But that is weird.
All of these books are written.
That sure is weird. And you know, as for the subject matter of the quote itself, I'm sure Agent Brown chose it for a specific reason. We'll see where he's going with it. I don't know what this larger plot is that's taking shape here. For the most part, Bill was apparently just using his chops with models. First in the wind tunnel lab, as far as I know, but just like always throughout his life, word of his skill with models opened like every door for him. I'm not joking. And like a month after he starts at this lab, he actually is like pulled out to make a small replica of Donald W. Douglas, Douglas, to make a replica of his small boat, the Endymion, I don't know how to pronounce this word, Endymion, 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 as a favor. So the senior vice president pulls Bill out of his work and says, can you make a model for me of the CEO's boat for his birthday? And he does it. And a month after that, he meets Mary, the woman who will eventually become his wife. And I guess it must have been a beautiful story because Agent Brown actually included an excerpt of the moment here for us to share. Here's Mathis with that. It's kind of interesting.
I called her the next week and we went dancing at the Palladium Ballroom in Hollywood. Palladium, sorry. She didn't live in Beverly Hills, but she looked as if she should. She was as beautiful as a model on the front page of Vogue. Her home was in Santa Monica with a nice Italian family from New York. On our drive to the Palladium in Hollywood, she said there was a nice road where people could look out and see the beautiful lights of the city. Now remember, this casual comment came from an absolutely gorgeous, sophisticated, well-dressed girl.
Not some idiot.
Not some moron, dumb, ugly girl. So I assumed she was referring to Mulholland Drive up in Hollywood Hills. And so I drove up there. What do couples do up there besides look at the lights?
I don't know.
She was right. The lights were beautiful, and so was she. I kissed her.
You dog.
I kissed her, and I kissed her again. She said, enough, and tried explaining that this was not the road she was referring to. A little confused, I drove to the Palladium, We danced very close all night with her beautiful eyes sparkling the whole time. On our drive back to her home, we stopped twice to kiss, and this was our first date.
Damn.
Let's pull over real quick. I need a smooth.
We stopped
Not
to kiss
really sure.
twice.
I'm not sure what the confusion is. I'm not sure what happened there. Like, am I missing like a boomer only implication? Like what she was implying? Like,
I think she was implying something different, like an actual like spot to look at, and he thought she was talking about like Lover's Lane or
like
whatever.
Mulholland Drive though is really beautiful though. I don't get it.
But she says she knew a very particular spot, and without asking, typical man, he actually just drove to where he thought she meant. They drove there. He knew this is makeout time, and she was like, no, this isn't what I was talking about.
She said, enough. This is not where I meant. And he was like, okay, I guess I'll just go to the Palladium.
He kissed her twice, and she said no.
Like, what the fuck happened? What happened? It seems like it was like not that good. I don't know.
Because then they kissed twice. They pulled over twice, dude.
On the way
they were
home,
making out so hot and heavy, he had to pull
This is his wife too.
over.
It's just a weird
wife.
fucking story. I don't know why he's like, she said to go here and it wasn't that. Anyway, we like went to this other place. Like,
honestly, based on the way you read that story, I thought you were going to tell me at the end the place she wanted to take me was to her UFO.
Brother,
You know, like,
that would have been great.
brother.
I think he just wanted to tell people he kissed a girl finally, and all his naysayers in high school now can't say much
this
about it.
chapter 6 is called Unbelievably Beautiful Girl, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. This man is me in ninth grade. Like,
if I wrote a book, I'd have a chapter called that, and it'd be so vague that no one would know which girl I was talking about, and then
Or
I could
what
say
street,
it for, like it was
or
about
what
you, baby,
street or anything.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, kissed her, and I kissed her again.
It's like
and I
every
pulled
good
over
song.
to kiss
It's
her
about
again.
you, girl.
No, but you know what? His wife is real. Actually, I'll show you.
No, I believe that. I fully believe that. The story is just nonsense.
Yeah. Anyway, luckily, within like a year, Bill graduates from the wind tunnel squad to being a full-on draftsman, working for his section chief, Pete Duyan. And within 2 months, according to him, he was working under the highest clearance possible, constantly working on technology of extraterrestrial origin again, and on designs for naval bases that would be held on moons and on maybe even on other planets. And these things would just come to him and he would like riff on them, basically. After 6 weeks like this, they were so happy with his work, they upgraded him to associate engineer, apparently just based on the quality of his work, which he may or may not attribute to being some sort of alien conduit. I'm not exactly sure. And by September of 1951, was working closely with the technical writer Ed Sullivan, no relation, Dr. Walther Rydell, and Gerald Hurd of Civilian Saucer Investigation, or CSI, again, no relation, where they noticed a surge of sightings around various top secret testing sites for technology tests, rocket tests, all that kind of stuff. They noticed, just like how we talk about today, there was a surge of UFO sightings around testing sites. And where apparently, though it's not very well substantiated, Bill claims to have met a young Jacques Vallée, though in real history, I looked it up. Agent Brown looked it up. He didn't move to the United States until 10 years later in 1962 and would have only been 13 in 1952, which is like a huge wrong
You're
thing.
telling me he didn't meet Jacques Vallée.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Mathis.
Or
I don't think
Mathis.
he met him.
Confirm, by the way,
Expand
that
your
he
horizons,
did.
time travel.
Okay. Oh,
Checkmate,
fuck,
atheists.
brother. Shit. Were you able to confirm, or did Agent Brown confirm that he did work for Lockheed and all that stuff?
There is good evidence and some memos around that do show that he does have some sort of career in aerospace, though as to the exact things that he claims to have done in those spaces, if
Sure.
they're as secret as there supposedly are, there would be no way to tell.
Right. Yeah.
Though,
of course.
though various parts of various things that he said to have worked on have been declassified without the alien part, and he points to certain ones, but like it's not even worth. Like, don't. It's more that he did it just to make it be a thing than that it's going to be in any way interesting to you. Don't. Trust me. I mean, trust.
Man said,
Agent Brown.
Don't.
It's just
Alex got a taste of the abyss, dude.
Yeah, it's not. There's like a lot of lying going on all over the place in all the books that are about this out there, and it's just gross. But that's it. Okay. So like I said, they noticed sightings around testing sites, and apparently he said he met Jacques Vallée, but he didn't. Here is a scene between Bill and Dr. Rydell for Jesse to read. Agent Brown attached a note to it that just says, "Why was he always chilling out with his buddies and building models for fun then?" Not sure what that means in context with this quote, but here you go, Jesse.
Struggling, he looked right at me. "Bill, it is possible that thousands of years ago, these beings became technically sophisticated, developed the capability to move off their planet." I finished his statement. "Left their star, and now their battle groups are cruising our area of the galaxy?" Where did that come from, Bill?
We're making some jumps, brother.
Where did that come from, Bill?
Taking a last sip of coffee, he stared at his watch. "Sorry, but I'm already running late. I'll keep you posted on any new developments. We should have coffee again next week, same time, same place. I will have more specific figures from my team by then. Next time we can discuss..." Oh, it's the other guy now. Next, I should do voices.
"Next time, we can discuss more about the reverse engineering necessary for interstellar space travel. Your team may come up with some of the pieces of the puzzle that my team is lacking. I just wanted again to thank you for your help with all this."
He shook my hand and said, "Bill, we need every man, woman, and child working on this. It's the only way we can preserve the human species." And with that, he walked out of the coffee shop. I sat there for a moment, finishing my coffee. I repeated his last words over and over again in my head. I was mesmerized by the sheer magnitude of the comment. We were at war with a far superior foe.
God, he can't write for fucking shit. This is
crazy,
so
dude.
bad.
It's crazy, dude.
This is so clearly him in his head, like concocting a badass spy scene. The guy with the other agent where he's like sipping his coffee and staring at his watch. "I'm sorry, Bill. I can't right now. Same time next week, I'll talk to my team."
Anyway,
like,
the world is going to blow up. See you guys for coffee
Don't worry
next
about it,
time.
Bill.
Yeah. Have fun with the models. Can you make one for the CEO's birthday? The world's going to fucking blow up. Shortly after this flash, though, that he had, possibly a couple months later, Bill claims to have conceived of the concepts and technology that powered NORAD.
Congratulations.
What do you mean?
He just came up with it. He came up with all of it. And he was developing it underground. And by 1953, the conclusion was finally officially reached that all the crashed UFOs and tech actually were coming from some type of alien spacecraft. And then that's what those things actually were, was spacecraft. Though we weren't very far into understanding almost any of the technology associated with it, simply because we didn't have the like science and technical understanding yet. And apparently that's Bill's kind of place. He's making NORAD before there's NORAD. He's trying to investigate UFOs before we're able to fully do it. He has the concepts, but frustratingly, Earth technology has not yet caught up with him.
My man's the chosen one. I get it.
Exactly. As time went on, Bill then supposedly was responsible for designing the, quote, Nova space trucks ahead of the Apollo mission, which are basically exactly what they sound like, and was taking baby steps towards designing an entire intergalactic navy using his same old modeling and drafting skills to sketch giant kilometers-long ships straight out of Star Trek, but like a busted-ass 1954 edition where in between drawings, Bill also is supposedly regularly heading out to White Sands Proving Grounds to oversee himself V2 rocket development and launcher tests. Like Von Braun type shit. While working here, Bill begins to realize that some of the work that he did with Dr. Klemperer, or Klemp as he prefers to call them in the past, involving unconventional propulsion methods and radiation's relationship with gravity, had been influenced via a similar mechanism to the way he was sometimes directly flashed by this psychic alien intelligence, except more indirectly. Okay, so here's Mathis with a quote from Agent Brown with a note that says, "Whoa, Nelly."
I scratched my head. Jim, who arranges these offsite lunches? Who are they? They present me with their unofficial technical evaluations on these so-called extraterrestrial problems. They always ask for my opinion. None of these experts are from Douglas, but they must have ideas that we're disseminating and designing spacecraft, which make up potentially the most comprehensive proof of extraterrestrial involvement and interference information on the planet. Klemp's unconventional propulsion schemes, MTM 622 reports. Holy run-on sentence. What else is new? What else is new? Jim sipped his coffee. Damn it, Jim. At times.
Damn it, Jim.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yes.
I'm a doctor, not a barista.
Damn it, Jim. At times, you and I are so close to Clem's propulsion schemes that we miss the fantastic implications of what we're really designing. Why are these guys, the 1,442 all over the planet, desperately trying to skip rockets and concentrate on electromagnetic anti-gravity propulsion for their spaceships in a way that defies even Einstein's theories? Why are they trying so hard to get off this planet? Wait a minute, Jim, I said. Back off. Let's clear things up and look at what the 1,442 really encompasses. What we know about them? Yes, Jim. And it really goes back to one of your hobbies in Navy intelligence when you flew up to Douglas during WW2, remember? Yes, I said. The Navy agents, spies in Germany discovered what all those out-of-this-world aliens gave Hitler. UFOs, anti-gravity propulsion, beam weapons, extended life, and plenty of mind-controlled, willing girls programs. The reptilians. What? Yeah, this is where the reptilians come in. Yeah. This is the part I remember the most about this guy. I'll give it to you again. Here's what this is what the Nazis had. This is what the aliens gave Hitler. UFOs, anti-gravity propulsion, beam weapons, extended life, and plenty of mind-controlled willing girls programs. That's good. So why'd they lose? The reptilians made a deal with the Third Reich SS, giving them this big box full of toys in exchange for letting Hitler enslave the rest of the planet. Oh, yes, and don't forget that the reptilian thugs had already stolen our sun and solar system planets from another alien gang civilization long ago. Oh my God. And added it to their gang territory. Okay. I am getting confused, Bill. Yeah, you're not the only one.
Me too, Bill.
Me too. I continued. Which of the reptilians owned us? They worked a deal with Hitler, and the aliens got permission to interbreed with everybody. So now Germany can put all of these toys in production for their German space navy. Then join the reptilian navy and go way back out into the galaxy and do it all over again. Okay, that's enough, Jim said.
I personally want to say that right now, reading this out for you guys, I'm at about a 60 on what the fuck is going on in this story so far. I don't. Wait, where are you guys?
This is my favorite one we've ever done, by the way.
Yeah.
I love how truly insane this is.
Like, Mathis, I
can follow this. I know what he's saying, but it's all fucking stupid.
Does it jive?
It's all awesome.
Does it jive?
What?
Does this go with the lore? Does this
No. This is so out of even like common. Like, yes, there is a pocket of UFO world where they believe Hitler was getting like UFO tech and
so
all this
those
other
are
stuff.
Natural developments, like things that that aren't fully from this.
Because this book came out in 2015. It's not an original thing. He's pulling from like the wildest, like craziest shit out there. This is like up there with like we did the ice walls, beyond the ice walls. Like this fits into that kind of world. Is like where this all comes from. This is insane shit. Reptilians out of nowhere is like fucking phenomenal. Like the reptilians are involved. That they're going to do in other worlds. That we're part of like gang territory in space.
I love the way that's described.
There's a lot going on.
Galactic Federation nonsense. It's like there's space gangs, and they came to Earth and they're dealing with the Nazis and they're offering them space hookers and space powers. And here's the thing. It's working. Like we could have joined them and gone to space and been cut to the space gang, but we fought back because we're like Jackie Chan and Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, literally.
We fought off the gang.
Just like on a huge scale.
If space is just the same as Earth, yeah, fuck that. Why go into space? If it's just more gang fighting and violence, just stay on Earth. Like, there's no need.
You don't even understand, man.
Girl programs, dude.
Yeah, programs. Thank you. You just reminded me. That sentence sucks. Mind-controlled willing girls? They are not willing if they are mind-controlled. They are not. If they are mind-controlled, there is no consent. What are you talking about? Mind-controlled willing girls?
Willingly mind-controlled.
This is why I think Agent Brown hates me, though, is because I make him read shit like this.
Yeah, this is usually what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I say, I'm 60 on this. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe it'll make more sense in Jesse's voice. Here is another quote Agent Brown left for you with a note that says, I think I'm fully lost now This actually ends mid-paragraph and changes to another barely related segment set at a separate time.
He's already brought in, like, this guy's already introduced and fully incorporated not only Hollow Moon, but like the Hollow Moon as an extraterrestrial ship and a city in the inside.
No, it's not a ship. It was towed by an intergalactic pickup.
Right. Sorry, towed
by a truck, dude. Space truck, dude.
Yeah, space tow truck. Sorry,
he said he needs a cigarette. He said he needs a cigarette and a sugar-free Red Bull after this.
Yeah, fair.
So this is
a
the
white
quote.
Monster. All right.
Yeah, white monster, dude. That's me, dude.
I'm nearly convinced that for some reason aliens have been monitoring our planet for a very long time, are encouraging all those people to leave Earth. What? Hold on. I'm nearly convinced that for some reason, aliens that have been monitoring our planet for a very long time are encouraging all those people to leave Earth. That's how you read that.
Yep.
Who, Bill? Maybe the white hat guys did it. This all happened before the rise of Germany in the Third Reich, when the SS discovered inventors recharging energy and building prototypes. They arrested them, confiscated everything they had, including them and their documents, shipped it all to an underground mountain research plant. By threatening to kill their families, the SS forced them as slaves to continue their space vehicle development.
You know the other thing I really hate about this?
Yeah.
Is it absolutely like sucks the dicks of the Nazis and makes them so much more like capable and competent than they actually were.
No, they're goofs. They're like the Andor Imperials. They're
seriously,
goofy.
When we do Manhattan Project, eventually I'm going to do Nazis and like the occult. They're a bunch of fucking morons.
In fact, you know who they remind me of? You know who they remind me of?
All right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Could you spell that out for me?
Fuck ICE, American Gestapo, bullshit. Yeah, a bunch of the most stupidest people in the world.
That doesn't ring a bell. I know the weather's bad there, but like,
yeah, you know who they remind me of. That lore didn't set off any more light bulbs for anyone. It feels like Hellboy's about to show up in the story. Like I don't
light bulbs in what way? Like light bulbs that this is like part of UFO lore?
Yes. Like I don't really
the fringest of fringe parts of it. Yes,
I'm not sure what he's getting at. Is what I'm saying.
I don't either. I don't know what he's going like. Yeah. What is his end story at this point? Because he's pulling from extreme nonsensical UFO lore out there, but like he's still like building it all together in his own way.
And maybe that means it's real, right?
Maybe.
It says here that in 1955, he was then moved to another project in the same department, this time involving the DM-18 Intermediate Range Ballistic Missile, which seems to be real, which he did for about a year before being made aware of something called Project Horizon in February of 1956, headed by Lieutenant General Arthur Trudeau of the U.S. Army, who planned to install someday a manned army base on the moon 5 years before JFK officially started the wheels turning on the Apollo program in 1961. So we're still in 1956. And they were able to use some of their work on similar concepts from even earlier than this. Like I said, they were looking at building bases on the moon and on other planets earlier even. So they got to bring some of that in here. However, here's Mathis for what I imagine is hopefully a little bit more context on this plan in a quote from Agent Brown, which includes a note that just says, penetration. Did Hideo Kojima write this?
The goal of Project Horizon was to establish an army missile base on the moon to protect our planet from the evil empire and the evil aliens. Our goal was to develop a very sophisticated lunar naval base. It was an enormous project to design and build a 2,000-man city that would include naval research centers, naval command and control centers, advanced power generation, military and commercial docking and launching facilities, naval astronomical observatory, hospital, medical research, environmental systems, agriculture R&D, transportation systems, and commercial and residential centers. Douglas required access to several German V-2 rockets, the Wonder weapons with sizable documentation packages that were used in part for our intermediate range ballistic missile designs. These were at the Army's Redstone Arsenal and White Sands Proving Ground in New Mexico, where we established reverse engineering facilities. Hitler's plan was for them to fly across the Atlantic Ocean and smash into New York and Washington. If the US had not made Germany surrender in 1945, they would have. So we also had access to a sizable documentation on the A-10s for construction of the long-range missiles. Also, during the same time, naval intelligence confirmed that the Soviet Union was making great strides in this area of research too. The Soviets were engineering several very large vehicles that utilized data and technology acquired from the alien telepathic assistance in German A9, A10 programs. The Russians intended to launch these rockets to the moon, taking control of it, and possibly using it as a base with which to blackmail the entire planet. This may be the real reason President Kennedy told our nation we are going to the moon. Was NASA just a cover-up for a massive U.S. military program to beat the Soviet Union to the moon and not let them control the planet with their missiles? NASA was not and never has been a civilian organization. It is a naval deep space galactic penetration organization.
Bodied.
Wait,
Think about
first,
that.
hold on. The end of that is NASA was not and never has been a civilian organization. It's a naval deep space galactic penetration organization. Like, yeah, sure, it's a civilian thing.
It's not military, but
it's not military, but it also is if
we
you
are
think
trying to go to space.
Space as water, and we sail upon it. Then
we're trying to go.
It's a giant.
Go out there.
Their whole plan is to go further in space. Yes,
this whole fucking thing sucks. He's officially in the land of he's making it up now. I don't know half this is, and you're reminding me why I stopped reading the book.
Over the next couple years, Bill submits more space cruiser and combat craft design concepts. Some new ones, some he's refined from some of his previous excellent work designing space cruisers and space combat fighters.
Do you think this is where Rise of Skywalker got their plot from?
No, I don't. I think that's better than this. And
I agree. I agree with you. But there's still a planet base building ships that will rise up and supposed to blackmail the galaxy or whatever.
He's framing it as if his entire life has been structured as an education for himself, right? And he also collaborates with Douglas's chief engineer, Harold Adams, on the design for the legendary DC-10, apparently, the passenger jet, very famous, which flew commercially from 1970 to 2014. You'd think his name would be on it. And in 1957, his design for the NORAD command center that he designed in the think tank, like I said, is supposedly used for the actual NORAD command center. He designed it in the 50s. In 58, he's promoted to engineering section chief. He gets placed on the S-4B project for the Apollo mission, which results in launch vehicles that are used on various Saturn missions. And in 1959, the moon base for Project Horizon also finally starts getting some funding or movement or attention or something where that's back in the mix during this time where he's working on that again. Bill also mentions that according to his own understanding of what was happening to us humans, around this time is when alien technology has first become available to various industries on a mass scale, and where this sort of technology has started to sort of shift the trajectory of the human race in new directions all the time on a regular basis. Now we're using and adopting alien tech en masse, is what he's saying. He starts off 1961 by returning to work on the Nova program by helping design the launch facility for the Nova rockets, and slowly transitions to working with NASA on Apollo and Saturn tech, continuing his work on the S-4B launch vehicle. But in 1963, his designs are a little too genius for everyone over there. He keeps throwing
He's too
out
smart for NASA.
I'm just too smart for everybody. Princess.
You know how Miyamoto comes in and he upends the table, throws everyone out, makes them start again, right? That's what
I almost spit up water. How dare you? You hit me with the princess, you son of a
princess. I get this from this guy. You just don't understand, princess. You'll see. Special.
You'll see. But yeah, he was too genius. He kept coming in with fresh, new, good ideas, and they'd have to throw everything out. So manufacturing finally conspired to fire him, and it eventually causes Bill to be fired by Douglas, hired directly into North American aviation by Dr. Kurt Debus from NASA, who still kept him on all the launch committees because apparently he had a special purpose that he had yet to serve. And here's Jesse with a quote from the book pulled by Agent Brown with a note that says, "Wait, what is happening here? I need to circle back on this. Stand by." So here's the quote for you.
I just want to let you know, for future merch purposes.
Yeah.
Honestly, we should have trading cards. We should do a whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. We need a league of Chilluminati gentlemen. This guy, Aleister Crowley, like
just all the worst
gems
all the shit
of
boys.
history have formed together, and they like have wacky adventures. I wrote that note down. League of Chilluminati gentlemen.
We could do a comic book series about that
Yes,
shit.
I want this.
If you give me $10,000, we'll do that. We'll do that.
We have to self-publish because nobody else
League
will.
of
Give me
Chilluminati gentlemen.
$10,000. I'll do that.
Hey, Bill. Yes, Alistair. Remember that time the moon was hollow? I do.
It's not even. You're not
Thankfully,
even
you
off
sealed
from
it
like
with my dark magic ritual.
You're like right. You're like writing the canon already. Like this is like really what they're talking about. All right. Okay. Here we go. What is happening here? I need to circle back on this. Standby, says Agent Brown. Here we go.
You know who this is, Jessica said telepathically. Hey, Billy, I'm on another mission. Heard you got the boot from manufacturing. Those assholes at Douglas. Not to worry. You're still on Dr. Debus's mission planning committee. Call him now. He has your next assignment. You're really going to have fun over there. I asked her, where are you at? She said, Quadrant 45001. No fun like we had. I said, where's that? Right next door to Orion. Call Dr. Debus. Everything's established. Whoops, my commander's yelling for me. Gotta go. Love you.
Dude, this is so... Oh, my God. I'm in Quadrant 45001.
No fun like we had.
No fun like we had when we were in Quadrant 36969, dude.
And apparently the secret plan is basically to try and invent anti-gravity propulsion fast enough to like, for some reason, right? That's the goal. But here's Mathis with a quote from Agent Brown about how it went down with a note that says, who is the one making these calls?
Part of my presentation to NASA included a concept that if we utilize my plan to go to the moon, we could do it by using existing Rocketdyne liquid rocket engines. These could also support the Naval Exploratory Solar System planets and their moon missions. The Navy's missions, however, would require entirely different propulsion systems, as my studies conceived in the Douglas think tank back in '54 had established. Okay, all of this was above top secret, so Dr. Debus had a difficult time explaining what my mission should be without violating security. He said, now, Bill, you and I know how far ahead our alien competition is and how far behind we are. Yeah, well, like saying how far ahead somebody is of you is implying you are far behind. You don't have to
No. This is what he said.
This writing is so bad.
Get ready for the next sentence.
It makes me so mad.
Get ready for the next sentence.
It makes me so mad.
Get ready for the next
Okay.
sentence.
Affirmative. I agreed.
Affirmative. I agreed.
Yeah. It's the same thing, brother. It's what affirmative means. If possible,
As
you
I
must
drank
utilize
my chai tea and ate naan bread.
I should never
At the
ever
ATM
ever
machine.
I should never be critical of my scripts ever again. Is what I'm learning after this. Is that I'm too hard on my own writing. Reading this man's book who got published writing
This is bringing
shit.
joy to people right now too. That's the crazy part.
That sucks.
If anything, it's working. Yeah, this guy, he got us.
I got to continue. If possible, you must utilize the same technique you used to slide in the back door of my office and, quote, get them on board, as Admiral Connor says. Everybody is running with the ball in the wrong direction. You know who I mean. He added, Bill, you have got to get them to back off. I hope to be out there this spring, but this is your mission, and we both know how important it is. The fuck are you talking about?
Building anti-gravity. Bill then becomes responsible for ionic propulsion facilities.
Wait a minute. Wait. I have a question.
Yeah.
Jessica is in Quadrant 004, whatever.
45001. Yeah.
How'd she get out there?
She's just out there. We'll talk about her more in a minute. Don't worry.
We don't have anti-gravity to move that way yet. How did she get out there?
That's an interesting question. It's an interesting question.
Did the aliens take her?
We'll see. But yeah, basically the idea is that they're having like an arms race, sort of.
Right.
So then Bill becomes responsible for ionic propulsion facilities, which open at Rocketdyne in May of 1963. He stays at Rocketdyne for 3 years, seeing through the launch of the Saturn C-1 orbital launch vehicle before sort of like retreating to Kern County, California, once they start to question why he's so obsessed with anti-gravity propulsion and won't focus on other things. But Kern County is still not too far from here. He joined the American Institute of Building Design, apparently, got certified, designed over 60 homes and residential buildings in the area.
Of course.
And over 60. And according to him, actually became the mayor of Lake Isabella in 1966.
See, there would be records of that if that happened.
Like I said, Lake Isabella isn't really a town. And the only thing I could find that was the ceremonial mayor who's named every year at the Whiskey Flats Days in Kernville, which is also not a town.
Yes.
That started in 1957 as part of a fundraiser.
It's like you're walking into your local comic shop and declaring yourself the mayor of the new 52.
Mayor of Marvel Comics. Agent Brown said he could not find a continuous record of past Whiskey Flats Days winners. And he'll keep looking and let us know if he finds anything, but there is nothing. I can't find, there's no record. I looked, Agent Brown looked, I can't find any record of him.
Makes Bob Lazar feel very believable. At least Bob Lazar had a video camera footage of him and his friends watching a UFO take off. Like, at least there's that.
And yet, Agent Brown has attached another quote from Bill for Jesse to read with a note that says, "Now I know I'm not imagining it." So maybe maybe we're about to learn something.
Maybe. One very clear night at 2 a.m., I had the need to get up, throw on a heavy robe, and go outside on the west deck and look up and out across the galaxy. The stars are absolutely brilliant up there. Even though I was bundled really well, I got a strange feeling that something was pushing me back into space, not just into space engineering, but out into the galaxy. "What the hell are you doing out here in the boonies and nude again?" Jessica screamed at me. "For God's sake, I have only been gone 5 months and you get fired again? Billy, can't you keep a job? I continually arrange everything for you to get another top position and to manage North American Rocketdyne from Dr. Debus and get nucleonic dumped in the trash, and you fucked up again. And William, that was where you could have really contributed to what you guys must do. Get off your fucking planet and help us straighten out the rest of your fucked up galaxy. Damn it, William. Are you listening to me?" She was looking straight into my eyes with those big blue peepers and fire in them now. What are you doing outside in the middle of the night in the nude? I am not nude. I have this robe on. I can see everything nice you got down there.
Oh, of course, dude.
Jessica, how can you take this cold in that short sleeveless mini? Hugging me, she said, "You turn my warm burners on."
Oh, I hate this.
But don't change the subject. What are you thinking? Playing architect in the woods when the whole planet is still under the fucking control of those Greys and reptilians, and they're pushing it back into the dark ages. Well, shut up, Billy boy. I've had it with your fuck-ups all the time. But
Put your
Jessica,
dick in my mouth.
Don't butt Jessica to me, you little shrimp, she continued. Okay, now here is what we are going to do. I have made an under-the-table arrangement so that you can set up an Apollo mission backdoor mentoring operation at one of TRW's offsite laboratories. You are still cleared way above top secret. After you get that going, you'll be assigned 189 way out hobbies.
What?
They're going to turn you into some sort of kingpin wheel. All right, Billy? Sounds good to me, Jessica, knowing you'll be there. Not now. Maybe later.
And there you go.
I hate this shit.
I like it that he managed to include she was checking him out.
She could see his dick. She liked what she saw. Actually, in 1967, Bill starts working in a TRW product engineering lab as staff to the president of the company, still with super high clearance. And that's where he worked from 1967 to 1971 during the majority of the Apollo missions, and where he witnessed one of the most famous moments depicted in this book during Neil Armstrong's historic Apollo 11 moon landing, and which I imagine is the subject of this next quote that Agent Brown has pulled from Mathis to read, with a note that says, well, it's refreshing that he's at least saying it was real, at least. And I'm going to do this in two parts just because it's a little longer.
I think Billy Boy here has he needs himself a dommy mommy.
Well, he might get one.
So many promises.
Do you understand what was just said? All these 400.
No, that's only the second half.
Oh shit! You're right. I got jumped down. My bad. Okay. Our astronauts were shocked when they landed on the moon. The first Apollo landing on the moon resulted in a major shock to the astronauts. The landing module, LEM, actually impacted the moon surface in the Sea of Tranquility crater, which had tremendous size vehicles parked around part of its rim. When our astronaut Neil Armstrong made the first step for man on the moon, he looked up to the edge of the crater and said to Mission Control, "There are other ships here. They are enormous." My sketch of what I saw on TV is shown here. The public did not hear that statement or see the massive alien starships. Armstrong panned his camera in 360-degree motion all around the crater. The CIA then classified the information as way above top secret. The extraterrestrials put up their no trespassing signs, but allowed us to make several other additional Apollo landings to pick up a few rocks and play in the sand. The actions of the extraterrestrials stopped our plans to build our manned naval base on the moon. Everything stopped, including our similar plans for Mars. We beat the Russians, but that was not the only reason we went to the moon. It was also for a long-term scientific research and development program. But yes, everything stopped. Nearly all of the 400,000 aerospace contractors were laid off, not just at Douglas, but at Boeing, Grumman, North American, ITT, Caltech, JPL, and numerous other companies all over the country. Do you understand what was just said? All these 400,000 Apollo people were dedicated to the program using Launch Complex 39 only. Each person is inherently supported by 7 commercial persons for normal living activities. Therefore, that's 2.8 million total persons. Furthermore, there were plans for 6 times as many launch complexes, as well as 3 Novatruck complexes. Thus, the total number of people involved would have been around 25 million people for the projects that NASA was developing in detail. Not just go to the moon, but to develop everything necessary to operate massive naval vehicles out in the galaxies and build naval stations on all habitable planets in the solar system. And people, this was 50 years ago. What happened? In just a few, it's all capital, one word, what happened? In just a few months, everything stopped? I am saying it again, this is fantastic. We create the naval missions, designed, built, and tested every element necessary to operate massive U.S. naval space battle groups out there in the galaxies way back then. All of a sudden, everything stopped? Did all of our brains stop working? Why did we stop? What the hell happened? I'm going to go with, didn't happen for 400 hours.
He said he showed a picture.
What the hell happened?
What happened?
It's like a picture of the crater, and then there's just like giant craft around it. That's all the picture is. It looks like it's rendered on like a Vectrex, also weirdly.
Oh, wow.
But I guess some of the larger pictures coming together, but it doesn't seem like Agent Brown was able to really substantiate enough of it to see the bigger picture. That's
I'm having a hard time too.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But maybe we'll hear more from him later. But for now, that's as far into his life as the book really deeply goes into in this first volume. In 1971, Bill leaves TRW to form Land Ocean System Corporation, which he was the president of until September of 1975, when he went back to Lockheed for a bit more to work on the DM-18 missile again and the Lockheed P-3 Orion airborne maritime surveillance craft. Then he worked at American Jet Corporation for 2 years, then Teledyne Ryan in San Diego in 1980, then General Dynamics from 81 to 84. Then he moved up to Medford, Oregon for 15 years to work with 37 top Navy officers on some type of council of people who had worked with alien government stuff in the past. And then he moved back to San Diego in 1999. And over the years, he slowly became a very well-interviewed and well-known figure in UFO circles for like 30 or so years before his apparently sudden death in 2017 at the age of 94. So here's some like links and photos and info.
At the age of 94,
I know.
He suddenly died.
Yeah, that's what his family says.
Mysterious.
Pretty much.
How strange.
Here's some links, photos, info pertaining to his life, which you can like check out in the show notes at home, but also you guys can look at it here. I like looking at this kind of stuff here and now when we know his life story, so we can kind of like put a face to the name. So it's kind of a good time to look at it. Makes it a little bit more real for me, kind of. I don't know. You can see a picture of him and his wife in like some spacesuits there. There's some cool stuff.
Cosplaying. It's great.
Yeah. So take a look at that. And of course, Agent Brown attached his official obituary, which I'll read for you now. William Mills Bill Tompkins, May 29th, 1923 to August 21st, 2017, San Diego. William Bill Tompkins passed unexpectedly on August 21st, 2017 in San Diego, California at the age of 94. Bill is survived by his loving wife of 66 years, Mary Tompkins, son Dean Tompkins, daughter Terry Scholl, and their families, and his brother Thomas Tompkins. He was preceded in death by his son, Robert Tompkins. A funeral mass is scheduled for Saturday, August 26th at 10 a.m. at Immaculate Conception Church in Old Town San Diego, California, 92110. With a reception to follow, all are welcome to attend. And that's his regular ass obituary. But I guess that doesn't really tell the whole story, because Agent Tompkins also included 2 more in memoriams for you guys to read, which he feels more accurately portray the effect he had upon this world. So this first one is for Jesse, and it comes from the site Godlike Productions. So here's Jesse's.
Bill's transition on this day of a full solar eclipse across the USA is yet another remarkable synchronicity in a long and productive life. In addition to working for decades with the U.S. Navy, leading aerospace corporations and Navy support organizations with multiple achievements, Bill decided to cap his remarkable life with his insider testimony about the Navy's secret space program.
Yep. And then this is another one from a PhD called Dr. Michael Sala, who has this to say about Bill, which I thought was interesting.
It's hard to believe that in the short space of less than 2 years from the December 2015 publication of his book, Selected by Extraterrestrials, Bill has electrified the UFO exopolitics community with his incredible testimony about the Navy's secret development of space battle groups with the assistance of major aerospace companies with Douglas aircraft. Dr. Bob Wood told me that the second volume of Bill's autobiography is currently with editors, and the plan is to still move forward with publication. Bill's transition today means that he will be aiding all dedicated... Wait, let me try that again. Bill's transition today means that he will be aiding all dedicated to full disclosure from the other side of the veil, and will be sending his sweet energy and humor to aid all us in this planetary transition. I plan to write a more detailed article about Bill's accomplishments in the next day or so with more information about upcoming events to honor Bill's life and achievements. Those wanting to learn more about Bill's secret space program testimony can visit this page, which lists most of the articles, radio interviews, and videos about him. Bill's friends and I will miss him greatly, and we look forward to his continuing help from the other side.
It's funny that he separates himself from Bill's friends, and it's a little weird that he does like a little bit of like almost like a press release kind of vibe in there
feels
for a
like,
second.
yeah.
And I think at one point there may have been a third quote here that Agent Brown pulled, but I'm not sure what happened to it. Maybe it like got sucked out into the tube. I don't know. But next, I guess Agent Brown wanted Jesse to read this letter. He wrote another letter. I thought it was over, but actually there's like a little bit more here. So he wanted Jesse to read another letter from Agent Brown. So whatever. It's probably nothing. Let's just move on to that. Here you go, Jesse.
He's got to write less is what he needs to do.
He's a busy guy. He has a lot to say. You know what I mean? He's got a lot going on. And
we got to talk to that guy. Let him know. Maybe not so much. Maybe within the parameters of what this platform can offer us.
He's a hard worker.
250 words or less. Thank you. Okay, listen. Just so you all know, this book sucks. I don't mean to say something bad against the people writing it. They both seem kind of nice, sort of. But I'll be honest, I'm kind of on the hook now. The first that happens when you read Selected by Extraterrestrials is that you immediately realize that it's not going to make sense in the traditional way when the first words of the preface by editor Bob Wood are, quote, Bill Tompkins has been writing his autobiographies in his mind for many years, and when before you leave the first page, Wood admits that, quote, he showed me some pages of drafts of this autobiography, and it was clear to me that Bill, while being quite articulate in his mind and speech, never obtained the skill of hearing words and knowing how to spell them. Another bad sign is when he admits that, quote, For those of you who try to follow the timeline of the book with precision, you may find a few anachronisms. But worst is that by the time just the fucking first page of the entire book is over, the editor is also admitting that, quote, I have been accused of never having met a conspiracy I didn't like. Bill's life story skirts the edges of believability, but in this case, I have total confidence that he is honestly telling the story as best as he remembers it. And I'll admit, pretty much impossible to even perceive the logic of the completely erratic storytelling on display here without taking some sort of notes and drawing lines between all the various dates and places and names and concepts and projects, except that when you're someone like me and you actually do, you find that then the book doesn't even really make sense internally before you start cross-checking and referencing to well-established records elsewhere, which seem to both completely support small portions of Tompkins' story, his accomplishments, and his service record, while simultaneously demolishing, or at least occluding, the truth of various other vast swaths of history at the time. And look, I know what you're going to say. It's not my fault. I was just looking for boobies. And you know what? Fine, Alex. I hate everything you're about on a granular level. And the way you act as a member of this organization serves as a total affront to my own much longer presence here. But it was my job to get you those boobies, even in a book as whacked out as this one. And I set out to do exactly that. But just like always with you, here's the problem. Once I started chasing the boobies, I also kind of started to see a different pattern emerge.
And yeah, he goes on, but he also figured that Jesse would get tired of reading all that. So the next bit of the letter is for Mathis to read. I'm going to give Mathis the next bit of the letter. Hopefully this can all fit in one, and it does, which is great.
Sweet. So first things first, while explaining how he first ended up in the think tank, I could barely believe my eyes, but between discussions of drawing ships and skillfully building models, Bill Tompkins just seems to casually admit, without drawing too much attention to it, to being part of some kind of strange child, adult-free, sex, private school community situation.
What?
Over at a, quote, huh?
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you again. Don't worry. He seems to casually admit, without drawing too much attention to it, to being part of some kind of strange child, adult-free, sex, private school community situation over at a, quote, private school on Sunset Boulevard, which lasted only for one semester, but which apparently went like this, quote, it was just for one semester, but it was a real eye-opener to the Hollywood movie crowd. The school taught all ages in one classroom. Almost all of the students were sons and daughters of movie stars, and they were the wildest children I had ever met. The school was on large estates that had equally large homes, one home facing Sunset Boulevard and the other facing the street behind, allowing students access to each home. The parents were frequently out of the country, permitting the student access to the living quarters. Most of the students were boarding, the first time for some of the boarding students. All grades were instructed in one large classroom, located in the guest home in the back. The older boys and girls were even having sex with the first graders. Oh, didn't like reading that at all.
No.
They would cut class and have sex in one of the dorm rooms. Sometimes faculty would participate, and even the students from first grade to ninth. It was every day. So this is like tutorial Epstein Island.
I don't think this is real, but I don't know. Like, it's so
not with the Epstein documents. Who fucking knows if it's real anymore? Maybe this is where all the trauma came from, and he was creating all this shit in his head.
It feels like the way he's framing it feels like he's taking a swipe at how the Hollywood elites live. And in the same timeline of his life from earlier, there's no mention of him ever going to this school. And I couldn't find anything. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah. Last bit goes, it was every day and after school. I learned a lot about Hollywood, as visiting parents frequently participated in these after-school events. I never learned a thing in class, but at least my mother tried. I hit the books trying to find evidence of this ever occurring from other sources and couldn't, and then went through the book a few times trying to discover its significance with regard to the larger story being told.
And again, like I say, this is a long letter now, so I'm going to take over reading it now for a while too myself, because this is still one continuous letter that we're reading. Keep that in mind. But just to mix it up, I think he wanted me to switch it according to Agent Brown's wishes, which are starting to sound a little patronizing. Like maybe he's just doing this to mess with me at this point, but I don't know. And so I searched using all the weird, horny terms I had pulled for Alex's weird, perverted episode idea: sex, girls, tight miniskirts, women from corporate, and found a bunch more unverifiable stories involving Bill Tompkins and sex, expecting to find more tales of sex abuse among the 1930s and 40s Hollywood elite. But these were much different, involving mysteriously knowledgeable female professionals with psychic powers of seduction and suggestion who always seemed to be finding their way into his orbit and the orbits of those around him over and over again, even though, from my personal perspective, this guy seems like a total creep. Alex, if you're a big boy who knows how to follow directions, you should be reading my letter now. So just open the file I've attached and give this first quote to Jesse to read. It's from the first time one of those strange characters shows up. Okay, so this is getting a little bit meta here now, but I do have the files here. So here's a quote within a quote for Jesse to read now.
You know,
inside of the
like
other
maybe we
letter.
should forward this message to A. Whitney Brown.
Yeah,
It's all right just to do an episode normally.
that's true.
Like,
That is
I
true.
don't know why we need to message within a message, within a message, within a guy, within a box, within a space program. You could just tell A. Whitney Brown that, like, we don't need to do all this.
It does seem simpler. It does seem simpler, but it might
does
be
seem
that this-
simpler.
It might be that this book just sucks that much that maybe he had to find some way to wring any entertainment value out of it
Do
at
you
all.
think maybe A. Whitney Brown could have not done the topic at all?
You think, but you said it was your favorite topic, and get ready for this.
Yes, I like when we're talking about how insane it is. That's true.
Yes.
Let's talk about the influence that the aliens have on the military and commercial aircraft design. The first time that I was aware of that was when an unusual, exquisite Asian girl was at a design meeting that was chaired by Harold Adams, the chief engineer of the proposed new commercial jetliner, later DC-8. She just seemed to appear when we were designing the Air Force's XC-132 heavy transport. This girl, who at the time appeared to be taking notes, gave me the impression that she was some sort of recorder or assistant. She was a tall, slim, statuesque person dressed in a plain dress, a little tight but not unusual. She was, however, extremely striking. She had beautiful Asian features and seemed to be about 19 years old. I was unaware of her background, but the Air Force required a secret clearance to work on the advanced XC-132. Like Donald Douglas Sr., Harold Adams was married with grown children and lived up the coast in Malibu. And like Douglas, Adams did not conceive the X-132 or DC-8, the first American jetliner. They were conceived in advanced design, but the thoughts and suggestions from the girl assistant were uncanny. They were always precise and well presented, to the point that it seems that she was the entire engineering department. It did not appear that she was limited in any areas of propulsion, aerodynamics, structures, or electronics. It was uncanny. He said that multiple times. It was uncanny. It even seemed unnatural or impossible. She also seemed to just show up and not be there at times. She was she in some way related to aliens? A number of the engineering section chiefs thought that was exactly what she was. I later learned she may have only been 13 years old at the time. She was only 17 years old much later when she and Harold took off in his converted Navy minesweeper on their cruise around the world.
And okay, now stay with me. The letter from Agent Brown is still going, but now he wants Mathis to read that letter. Okay. So this is,
wait, is this all still A. Whitney Brown?
that you just read was a quote from the book, and now we're back
Sent to
in
you
the
by
letter.
A. Whitney Brown.
No. This quote that you just read is real from Bill. Now we're back in the letter.
I've said this before.
from A. Whitney Brown.
Sometimes just is like, it's hard to follow sometimes when it's only audio you're getting.
That's true. That's true.
Is this what I'm reading? This is right here?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. See what I mean? Doesn't it give you the feeling that he's not exactly describing what he's seeing? Is he just threatened by a confident woman in the workplace? And what about the thing about her being a minor and going off with a married man around the world. I fucking hate Alex episodes. Anyway, he follows up that story with one where he meets a clone of her as a waitress in 2012, except her name's Turban and she's from Turkmenistan, and mysteriously asks nobody how do they do that, even though I don't think even he knows who they are in this case. Anyway, Mathis, thanks so much for reading. Sorry I called you a short pothead earlier. I mean, you definitely are one. It's true. But you're cool. And Jesse, you're actually cool too. It's mostly just Alex that sucks. Anyway, give him this next piece to read.
I'm starting to like this guy more.
Okay. And I guess that means I read this next part about Barb and Joanne, and Agent Brown has written quotation marks around Barb and Joanne from corporate. So we'll see what that's about. There she is again, Jim said. Where? I countered. She's down the aisle by hydraulics. See, some of those guys are bent over their drafting boards. I think she is tempting them. Hey, Bill, look at that short skirt she's wearing today. Yeah? Who is she? Jim asked. Larry said, she's Barbara. Barbara from corporate. She's snooping around engineering, trying to find out who knows what we're doing. I wish she could come and sign advanced design and show those gorgeous legs to us, I said. She can't do that, Jim. This area doesn't exist, huh? Joanne from corporate walked in, returning another bundle of our secret files that are not supposed to leave the tank. Okay, girl, when did you steal all that stuff? I asked. I didn't steal it. Somebody dropped this stuff in my basket. Oh, come off it, Joanne. You are the general of the corporate spy command. No, I am not. I am just a private. It isn't a spy group, just a friendly gossip bunch. Well, maybe that isn't quite right either. More like a sex club. Most of the stuff is done under the table. That's your best talent, Joanne, Bob answered. Bending over Bob's desk, giving me her best view, she added, What is this stuff on your desk, Bobby? She asked. What are you two boys doing now? Grabbing our photos, Joanne said. Oh, dirty pictures. I love all this stuff you guys play with in here. She grabbed a photo. What are you doing with a photo of Billy's Apollo S4B stage out in space with all those aliens trying to get in? Turn the damn photo over, Joanne. That's an Air Force boring machine, I said, adding, why do they all do that? And then, we're going back to Agent Brown's letter. Okay. We're still in the letter that Agent Brown is writing to us. And now Jesse is reading Agent Brown.
Weird, right? Who are these mysterious women who casually walk in and steal secrets from these guys while openly talking about sex in front of each other? Am I just being more naive than my grizzled, disgruntled exterior lets on? Did Bill even realize he wrote this in here? It has almost no connection to anything happening around it. I can't tell if it's just like bad, disjointed porn writing from an old horny man trying to spice up his memories, or something more, something hidden. Always miniskirts of various colors, always bending over, always stealing and returning important documents, always bizarre high heels. It gets worse, gang. And look at me. The deeper I go and the weirder this whole vibe is getting, I'm starting to grow fonder of these imaginary versions of you I'm writing in my mind. Alex is still a full-on tool in real life, though. That's true. And I'm still not done finding stuff out. It wasn't just Bill seeing these babes. Here's Mathis with more.
And then, so I got a quote here from Mathis. So here we go. We'll do this in two parts because it's actually like quite big, but it's essential.
I found out, Cliff said. Cliff is my good-looking Apollo project manager on loan to the think tank. You found out what? I countered. That tall brunette in the near-transparent silver mini and 4-inch chrome slippers? You remember, Bill. She had no bra, just a chrome bikini. Come on. 3 weeks ago at the engineering dance, you can't remember? At the Beverly Hills Hotel? Oh, yes.
The chrome bikini, of course.
The chrome bikini girl. Her name is Kelly Norris. She is a new hire in the flight test office. She drove Grumman F9F jets off carriers as a hobby. Okay, can you do that as a hobby? Anyway, you're kidding me, I said. Best Navy fighter pilot in the Pacific, they tell me, Cliff continued. It gets better. She's got a top secret clearance. How do you know that? I said. Turn around, Bill. That's her in a blue Mini talking to Klemp. It is impossible, I said. It is her. Look at her gorgeous, long brunette hair.
It is impossible.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. She is another Nordic type, Jessica's sister. My God, she is another fucking alien, Jim said, as he walked up and tapped me on the shoulder. Where do you two get them from, or did Richard pick her up at MGM's in Vegas? What the fuck is going on?
Dude, have you seen Mars Attacks?
So Jessica is a Nordic alien, which is why she's out in space.
Maybe.
Next part.
Agent Brown is uncovering this mystery as we speak.
Then Richard walked up too. Richard is that blonde hunk, a really sharp-dressed guy from the propulsion section. Hey, Dick, he said. Cliff responded. She isn't ours. I was just telling Bill she is a new flyboy in flight test, and she's got clearance. Cleared to do what? Richard said. Richard said, who knows? I said, but she sure has Clem's attention. I am going to walk over there and see what they are reading. Cliff added, walking over to Clem's desk. Wow, man, this is written so badly.
Dude, it's like
so bad.
It's devastating.
It's like my ninth grade fan fiction, is kind of like level here. When he got back, he said, you won't believe this. They have Dr. Ernie Lang's photonic rockets folder, the one that Klemp recommended for a possible deep space destroyer concept. Your power report, Bill, and your system block diagram. Hot dog. She's explaining to Klemp what's wrong with it. She's even changing it, Bill. Your system block diagram. She's redlining it. Look, she has almost doubled the element blocks that you made. None of this makes fucking sense.
It's happening in real time. She's like adjusting his plans, and they're all watching play by play.
Cliff stood there watching her redlining the document. Klemp asked him, can I help you? Cliff said, no, I see you are really busy now. And he left. Great. Look, she stood up now, Richard said. Yaw, Cliff added. And she walked around to the front of his desk.
Like Howard Dean?
Yaw.
Yaw!
Yeah, I guess. Yaw, Cliff added.
Okay.
And she walked around to the front of his desk and is marking it up even more. That means she is drawing and writing upside down like you do, Bill, Jim said. I don't know how you guys do that. Who the fuck cares? Cliff answered. Look at her now, those gorgeous legs. Never mind the legs. Look at her luscious little bare cheeks and that blue string thong. I hate this. Oh, she turned and is looking straight at us, I said. She is smiling, Richard added. We need to hire her right now. Yep. So they just saw a hot woman and made up a bunch of fantasy about her, and then they were like... That
wouldn't be the first time in
hot
history.
Women who are amazingly good at aerospace plan markups.
That sucked. The way that every sentence structure...
False.
The dialogue, the way it was... it's all...
It's rough.
That
awful.
Was the beginning of a porn script.
It's rough.
I want to go take his book and rewrite his book for him.
Right?
Post-mortem.
That's the thing. It's not even him. It has been rewritten. This is Bob Wood. This is Bob Wood's version.
It sucks. Bob Wood.
Yeah. And now Agent Brown wants me to read some more of his letter. So here we go. And then Bill goes on to find out that this new girl also has level Q clearance or whatever. And she keeps like revolutionizing and improving everything she gets her hands on. And according to Bill, this Miss Norse or whoever she may actually be is even better than him at being an effortless genius. But other than that, everyone just sort of keeps on working. Am I taking crazy pills? Alex, you're still an asshole for making me debase myself in the first place, and I'm offended to be operating on your level. But psychic alien spy babes from the moon or Mars or something?
Is this Jupiter Ascending?
Yeah, I got to hand it to you.
Lucky.
True or not, this is the craziest idea I've ever entertained. Maybe that's why you do the podcast thing and I do the field work thing. Though I'll be real, I still like Mathis's True Crime episodes more. Anyway, I'll be back next week with more pneumatic tubes of notes for your show. Don't worry about that, but now be a good boy and put an actual voice actor like Jesse on now so we can close this out with something like a cliffhanger. Okay. And
No.
I'll do that.
Not like this.
I guess I'll do that. I guess I'll do that. I mean, I guess. There's one more quote here, I guess, so we'll do that.
God, this whole episode, I'm like, yeah, that's why I did not finish this book.
It's not a good one. Give me the other one.
But wait, it's a two-parter, is what you're saying.
It's a two-parter. Yeah, it's a two-parter.
Oof.
Okay, here we go. The word had gone through the grapevine that the propulsion section has gotten this gorgeous young thing who always wears miniskirts. Bill, he added, is in our section responsible for the Apollo SIVB stage checkout launch and ground support? You are, I said. Aren't we the systems analysts for the entire program? And Bill, we have the largest number of engineers of any section. So shouldn't we have the best looking secretary? Right you are, Cliff. Again, I agreed. So here we are with no section secretary, Cliff grumbled. Then in walks this dream. I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous. Like nobody at Douglas has ever seen before. She walks right into my office and says, "Here I am, Bill. Now we can do it." I had to agree with what Cliff was thinking. I thought the same thing. Do what? Stuff was banging around the inside of my head. There are a lot of things that came to mind that I wanted to do with her.
I wish you would SIV this D.
She was beautiful, a tall, long-haired blonde, wearing what was to become the standard for these new secretaries in the future, a very short cocktail dress. Somehow, she gave me the impression, pulling up her skirt and looking at her legs, that she meant to do whatever she wanted to do. Right now, here on my desk, with all of engineering crowded around outside my office. Glancing shakily over my shoulder, I noticed that all the typists' faces were twisted up with envy. The guys were lapping their tongues over their lips. Wait a minute, I thought. Who were these secretaries? Of course, Cliff had to say that she had the sexiest long legs he had ever seen, and look at those 4-inch clear plastic heels. The classic. Coming out of it, I stood up and held out my hand to welcome her. She came right up to me, put her arms around my neck, and rubbed herself all over me.
Oh, princess.
"You're losing it again, Bill," Cliff said. Feeling weak, I had to sit down. Taking a seat on my desk facing me, the new dream provided me with the most incredible view I had ever seen. "I'm Jessica," she said. "Do you think you can remember that?" I'm William," I stuttered. "Yes, I know."
Now we're in a high school anime.
Yeah. My nose started bleeding profusely.
Exactly.
"Yes, I know," she answered. "You're Bill Tompkins, section chief responsible for getting us to the moon and Mars for the Apollo program. And I'm here to make it happen, okay?"
You show me your rocket right now.
"That sounds good to me," I said. "Cliff, will you give us a little privacy?" Jessica said. "How do you know my name?" Cliff asked. "Just shut the door behind you, Cliff. Bill will be all right." He shut the door. Bang. Coming out of it again, I told her, "You're very nice, Jessica." Holding my face in her hand, she said, "It's going to be all right now." She brushed her long, blonde hair back with both hands, causing her neck to drop even more. Neckline, to drop even more. "I need to make several phone calls now. You know. Company business."
And that, my friends, is part 1 of Bill Tompkins' Man's Understanding by Jesse, Mathis, me, but mostly Agent Brown. Thank you so much for listening. Actually, though, before we go, lasting clip for today seems to have fallen down the side by accident. Not really sure what it is or how that even works, considering I believe I said I digitized all this earlier. But, look, it's one more quote from Bob Wood after Tompkins' death. I mean, I guess it might not matter in context anymore, but I'll read it anyway because Agent Brown included a note on it that said,
of course.
"Can we even trust Bob Wood?" Here it goes. It says, "On Sunday, August 20th, 2017, I got an email from Bill's son, Dean, saying that on Saturday, August 19th, 2017, he had a brain bleed and is expected to pass away soon. He was on his way to Southern California. Later Sunday, August 20th, 2017, I talked to Mary, who said he had fallen twice and didn't respond the second time, so they called an ambulance. He was taken to Scripps La Jolla, where they concluded, according to Mary, it was a blood tumor in the brain and was inoperable. This morning, I got a call from one of his nieces saying he passed at 2 a.m. this morning, August 21st, 2017, that they would let me know when and where there will be a service. I am planning to continue with Book 2 without Bill's final proofreading. Sadly, Dr. Wood, August 21st, 2017. And yeah, I guess that's it for this week. But why would he mention a second book on the day that he died in his in memoriam? Feels pretty icky. Anyway, part 2 next week. Mathis, get us out of here.
We're off to do a mini-sode over at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod as we do every week. We will be there for all of you. And we'll be here next week with part 2, as Alex just said. We appreciate you. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Anyway. Me and my wife were sitting outside indulging on our porch one night, enjoying ourselves. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I stepped back inside, and after a few moments, I hear my wife go, "Holy shit, get out here." So I quickly dash back outside, and she's looking up at the sky in awe. I look up too, and there's a perfect line of dozen lights traveling across the sky.